gun guys are the cool people. Like all the
Yeah.
gun YouTubers, they're super cool. I had one time, which I'm now stopped drinking because I went into we were drinking at some event, and AK guy and Iraq veteran and all them were there.
Yeah.
And I got to the next bar, they want to do karaoke, and I'm like, bro, I can't fucking sing worth a damn. So I went to the bartender and I'm like, give me 2 beer glasses full of Fireball and like the
Oh
big
my
ones. And I
God.
chugged both of them, blacked the fuck out. Apparently I did sing karaoke, but it wasn't very good. And then I walked through a McDonald's drive-through and, but they all took care of me. They made sure I got
Yeah.
back to my hotel room. I was like, if you
Welcome to Tarducks, a podcast for content creators to come on and share their experiences, life stories, and advice. And today, I can't tell you how excited I am. I have Devil Dog Gamer, the legend. How are you?
I'm doing good. I didn't think this day was going to come. We kept having to delay this. So
Yep. 2022, man, is not your year right now, is it?
no, it is not my year. It is not my year. We're halfway done, so I mean, I think 2023 will be a little better, hopefully.
Yep. Yeah, we got that COVID stuff almost behind us, and then,
Yeah.
hopefully just no pandemic next year.
Yeah. Well, they'll find something new. Something new will come out.
Yep,
Guaranteed.
totally. All right, so what we normally do is we start the pod off with 3 rapid questions just to get the juices flowing.
Okay.
So are you ready to go?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, sketchiest bar you've ever been to?
Ooh, sketchiest. Oh man. A hole in the wall in San Diego that I'm pretty sure was a front for something else. So I had a beer and left.
All right. So you're going out to your favorite restaurant to eat. What are you ordering? No kids,
Ooh.
just you and your wife.
No kids, Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Nachos Bel Grande with jalapenos.
Nice. With the
That's
Baja
it.
Blast?
No, not so much anymore.
Okay.
As I'm sitting here drinking a Mountain Dew, because I'm a weirdo.
All right. And third question is favorite city you've ever traveled to?
Ooh, I liked San Antonio, but I wouldn't live there. Like,
Yeah.
I liked it because it was cool, but I don't think I'd live there.
All right, there we go. Okay, so that's done. So first of all, welcome to Tarducks. So happy you were able to do this. And
Yeah.
where are you from originally?
Born and raised in Maryland, just outside DC. Lived
Yeah.
there till 2004. Moved down to Florida.
Yeah.
Went to the military. Came back. Never leaving Florida again. So I'll die here. This is the house I'll die in for sure.
No cold, no snow. You're happy without all that?
People come here for vacation, so it's like, why go anywhere else? Like,
Yeah.
I miss the mountains and stuff, but
Yeah.
other than that, I wouldn't trade any of this.
Nice. First of all, let me say thank you for your service. It's a special person to do that, man.
You don't gotta thank.
Well,
You don't
yeah,
gotta
what you
Not
do,
really.
yeah, you kind of
Okay,
do.
but I appreciate it. I
All right.
appreciate it though.
So now, what made you decide to serve? Let's start there.
Whole family was in the military.
Yeah.
Grandfather, Korean War vet. He was a drill instructor in the Marines. Dad was Army Special Forces through like all the Cold War and crap. And I was like,
Yeah.
it's my turn. And of course, I picked a war, which sucked.
did?
But it is. I think honestly, it's one of those things like everybody should do it. I think it kind of makes more of like it opens your eyes to the world a little more and gives you a little more focus on your actual life.
Yeah.
And honestly, if I didn't, I'd probably be a completely different person than I am now. So I'm kind of glad I did it, regardless of all the bullshit along the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Like other countries like Israel and Germany, they have their mandatory military service,
Yeah.
whether it's 2 years. And I think Germany is like 2 years military or civilian. 18, you don't know what you want to do.
Oh,
but,
fuck no. You don't know shit. You don't even know the world. It's like, I thought my life was so different. And the way I thought when I was in the Marines was so different. And
Yeah.
even like as I get older, thinking back on it, I'm like, I was a fucking idiot half the time. And I was like, even with the structure, I was like, good Lord.
Yeah.
I was like, it could have been so different. Such a different life.
Yeah. Now, what'd you do in the Marines? What was your role?
I was infantry. I was a designated marksman, kind of like a sniper, but not really. Because I was one of the few infantry units that actually didn't have a state platoon, so I got kind of screwed out of that. Did my deployments, Iraq. Went to do MARSOC, which is their special forces, because I wanted to be a sniper and got injured, and they said, "Oh, you're broken. Bye. See you later." So I was like, "All right," but I was like, "Hey, I did one tour. I'm fine. Send me home."
Now, was that the end of the military career at that point?
Yeah. Because it would have been so. I did look into the Army, and they were like, which I honestly was like, kind of just, I should have gone Air Force to be honest, but
Yeah.
they're like, I was like, you'd have to prove that you're good, your knees are better, and they're
Yeah.
like, it's such a pain in the ass to do, like, it don't even bother. And I was like, all right, fuck it. And I was like, I won't. So,
Yeah. Oh man. So now, what did you do when you got out?
went to work at Walmart, like
Yeah.
everybody I know in the military, because that's, you think you have opportunities in infantry, you don't. And then
Yeah.
I did private security, which I was basically armed cop. We had like patrol cars for like
Yeah.
super rich people, like CEOs of companies, which that
Yeah.
sucked. Did YouTube at the same time. I think I was like 6 months into YouTube, and then I
Yeah.
started getting paid more on YouTube than there. So
Wow.
I just said peace and
Yeah.
been doing it ever since.
Oh, that's fantastic. And was it much of an adjustment? You're coming from military to civilian.
Yeah, conversating with like people that weren't in the military was a little weird because a lot of
Yeah.
people see my language. I drop F, like you've already noticed. I,
Yep.
I
That's
curse a
good.
lot. That's like my normal language.
Yeah.
And some people they're kind of hard to talk to with that, like if they take offense to it. And just like,
Uh,
you're trying to carry conversations with people like right when you get out and you're like, why are we
yeah.
talking about this? Like, this is dumb. Like.
All right. So adjustments to civilian life unique. You like you said you
Yeah,
really just hung
it
out with other
wasn't it
people.
wasn't too difficult. Just people kind of,
Yeah.
generally kind of more disdain for them.
Yeah.
And just having free will was kind of weird. Other than that, it
Ah,
wasn't too bad.
cool. Now I noticed you're an F1 fan, or you talk about
Yeah,
F1, post some
yeah,
stuff on
I
F1.
am. I am an F1 fan.
How long you been
Honestly,
watching that?
not that long. It was the first season of Drive to Survive that
Yeah.
got me because
Oh,
I had
okay.
a crazy fever, couldn't leave bed, I couldn't find shit
Oh
to
no.
watch. I turned it on and I kept waking up with fever dreams watching it.
Yeah.
And like, I finally convinced my wife because she's a huge NFL fan. Like, we
Yeah.
go try to go as much as possible, huge parties. Convinced her to watch it. She doesn't talk about football at all anymore. She's a huge fan.
Oh
She's a
no
bigger
way.
fan than me. Like, she wants to go to all the races. We tried to go to the Miami race because it's
Yeah.
only 2 hours from us. It's like 3K a pop for
Oh
tickets. I was
my
like, there's
god.
no way in hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're just super F1 nerds now. I just don't understand how it happened. So,
Yeah, I'm from Canada originally, so I've grew up,
yeah.
enjoying F1. Moved down to the States, got sucked into NASCAR by some buddies from
Ah,
Mississippi,
ah,
and that was an experience, And
yeah.
then still fell back to F1 a few years ago, and it's so much fun to watch.
Yeah, there's more drama. Like, I
Yes.
like NASCAR. We go to the NASCAR races. We're close to Daytona. I haven't gone
Yeah.
yet. I like NASCAR. I like to watch it,
Yeah.
like, in person, but I can't watch it on TV. It's like,
Yeah.
ugh, it's so boring.
Yeah.
But F1 is different because 'cause you're, like, looking at, like, what strategy are they doing? And it's just like, "Oh, they're taking a
Right.
left again. Look at them go," you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and that my first NASCAR race was Bristol, Tennessee, and
Oh,
in person. But I had the experience of getting the headset so you can tune into any of the
yeah.
drivers,
Oh,
and that
yeah.
changes your whole experience.
I never did that. I was too deep into drinking at that point. I never wanted the headset. I'm trying to figure out what number car is that? I can't see. Oh
Yeah.
god, my eyesight's going. I'm too drunk.
Yeah, but F1 now who's your team?
McLaren.
Yeah.
I'm a big Lando fan. The wife's a
Okay.
Ricardo fan. So once
Oh, okay.
he came into the team, she was all excited. And this year she's like, "Fuck Ricardo. He's such a pain in the ass. What is he doing back there?" She's like freaking out on him. I'm
Oh,
like, "Oh
shoot.
man, I feel
That's too
bad, but
funny.
it's
Yeah.
the way it is.
Yeah.
But we're both like we were like Russell. We kind of like George Russell.
Yeah.
But he's just kind of a weird guy. He's kinda
Yeah.
weird. We're big fans of Carlos too,
Yeah.
Leclerc, and, Max.
Yeah.
We kinda like them all, but, like, Mercedes, we're kinda, like, stayed away from Mercedes lately. It's just
Mhm.
I don't like Toto. I don't like Toto for some
Yeah,
reason.
no, I hear you there. Yeah, but I like the Red Bulls. I like Max. I just wish he wouldn't come on the radio because he sounds so whiny. It's like, oh my god.
I don't mind Max anymore because of Yuki. Hearing Yuki's
Oh
radio, I'm like, "Oh, man, Max ain't that bad." It's
yeah.
like
Oh man. So now, do you still do any airsoft? I saw you had
No,
videos
god,
years ago.
no. It's just so damn hot in Florida to be running
Yeah.
around with all that gear on. It's like, it's all these kids running around, and I'm like a grown ass man sweating my ass off with like 2 milk jugs, like, full of water, trying not to die.
Yeah.
Like, I came home one time, I couldn't barely drive home, pulled into
Yeah.
my grass, crawled into my shower, turned it on cold, sitting there because I'm like, I'm heat casing, and I'm, like, gonna die in my house because I played some kid's game. I was
Oh
like,
my
"Good
god.
lord." So, I couldn't do it anymore. It's just a whole different it's a young person game, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, our bodies can't handle that.
Oh
I'm
god, no.
I'm
Once you hit
50.
30, it's
Yeah.
game over, man.
Yeah, those mornings you wake up after you did something the night before, it just hurts.
Oh, I know. Ugh, it's terrible.
Yeah. So what are you playing these days? I saw some Ready or Not, some
Uh,
Tarkov.
Ready or Not, Squad, DCS, back to Tarkov, of course, because of
Yeah.
the wipe. So I'll give it another 3 months before I'm back off Tarkov
Yeah.
again. You know, can't hang with anybody on it
Yeah.
anymore. It's like this is my fourth wipe now where I've been like a week behind. I'm like
Yeah.
level 11 right now. And I'm like, oh my God. I was like, I have so many quests to do. Just finished the Salewa quest. And I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, I'm so far behind everybody. Like,
Now,
God.
do you play that off stream or what do you
No,
play
no.
off
I
stream?
mainly off stream. Um, Probably just DCS Squad, Ready or
Yeah.
Not. A few guilty pleasure games like Stormworks because nobody likes watching those for some
Yeah.
reason. And every once in a while, I'll bust open like Fallout New Vegas or something like that and play
Yeah.
it for like an hour. But most everything is usually what you find on the channel. Like I don't like
Yeah.
to waste time. Like I'm not playing stuff that I can't do a video on because it's like then I'm just taken away from doing content at that
Right.
point.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, when did you start playing? What was your first gaming experiences?
Oh god, the M-DOS days on computers.
Yeah.
So, having to get my buddy's dad, we wanna change game, and he knew the command,
Yeah.
like the old stuff. I used to play, like, all the Jane's flight simulators,
Yes.
NES, Super NES games, pretty much
Yeah.
all of it. Was bigger into computers for a while, did all the old Civ games,
Yeah.
all the old Fallout games, Quake, was my first
Yeah.
FPS, Unreal Tournament, and then just kinda, as the years went, progressed,
Yeah.
just onto the new stuff.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I remember the Navy Fighters was one of the first
Oh,
flying games.
yeah.
Those were fun. Oh man.
Yeah.
So and getting the thrustmaster control and all that, way back
Yeah.
then. And
Mhm.
and now you see how far those things have come.
Oh,
Holy
yeah, they're
crap,
a
dude.
long way. I mean, like, you play DCS and, like, a lot of pilots would be like, "You can play DCS, you could probably fly the real thing." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, well, that's good to know. Thanks, guy." It's like, "Leave your A-10 sitting there for a little while, I'll take it from
Yeah.
you." You know?
So looking back over the years you've been playing, what are some of the highlights of, what are some of the top games you've enjoyed?
Oh, man. Definitely DCS. I think
Yeah.
that's, like, my number 1. Um, Tarkov, when Tarkov first came out, that was, like,
Yeah.
really, like, an experience, like, it was
Yeah.
so new, so different. I think that was a lot of fun, to first experience. It's such as like, the infancy when there was, like, 2 armors, like,
Yeah.
nothing was there, it was a whole different game. Um, that's about it. And Arma, the first time I played Arma, and once you
Yeah.
kinda saw what you could do with it was really cool.
Yeah.
That was one of my, like that's what kinda got me back into PC because when I first started YouTube, I was back on console,
Yeah.
and then I saw, you know, I played Operation Flashpoint back in the day, and I was like,
Oh,
"Oh, they got a
yeah.
new one," and I'm like, "Alright, well, let me get a PC," and then I played it, and I just trashed my console immediately. I was like, "I'm never
Yeah.
going back again." I was like
Yeah, Arma is something I always wanted to jump into, but you need friends to play with Arma
Oh,
essentially
yeah.
because
Oh,
and
I
then
got a
that
group.
whole
If you wanna come play, I got a whole group. We
yeah,
can do all the milsims and stuff. Sometimes they do
yeah.
the Warhammer one, the Star Wars ones. There's so
Oh,
much
yeah, I
stuff
saw
you
the
can do
Star
with it,
Wars
man.
one. That looks cool.
It is pretty cool. There's a lot of
Yeah.
fun. It's just a sandbox. Once you get that open-ended game,
Yeah.
you just do whatever you want at that point. That's what I like about it.
Yeah. And how are you liking Ready or Not?
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan of the old SWAT games. Like I played all of them, and
Yeah.
when that kinda died out, it was sad. And then I used to play their mod because a lot of the developers for Ready or Not made the Elite Forces mod for SWAT
Okay.
4, and that's all I used to play is the Elite Forces
Yeah.
mod, and they kinda brought me in for their first test when they first publicly tested it, and the video is
Yeah.
still on my channel, and it was multiplayer, and it was trash. It was, like,
Yeah.
one of the worst gaming experiences I had, and I was like, "Oh, this game's gonna suck," and then they finally released it again, and I'm like, "Oh, thank god they fixed everything," and it's like it feels so much like a new SWAT that
Yeah.
it's just awesome. I like it a lot. It's gonna have a really bright future, I think.
Cool. Now with Ready or Not, is there a PvP element to it or is it really just working together to take out the AI?
Right now, it's the co-op taking out the AI
Yeah.
because the first thing they showed off and let us play was the PvP, and it was really bad. So they're
Yeah.
kinda backburnering that and focusing on the core, but there's gonna be PvP and stuff like that. It's
Yeah.
they got a lot of stuff planned, a long way to go still too with it.
Okay. And now anything coming out that you're looking forward to getting your hands on and playing?
Ooh, 6 Days in Fallujah.
Yes. Yep.
Sea Power is another
Yep.
one. Task Force Admiral, the new Stalker game, and the
Yes.
Fallout London mod is
Yeah.
gonna be really cool.
And did you see that Assassin's Creed? Is there a military Assassin's Creed coming, or was that
No,
no
no,
meme?
it was a book. They made, like, a
Oh,
Assassin's Creed book during Vietnam. It was, takes place during Vietnam, and
yeah.
somebody was telling me about it, and I looked it up, and I saw the cover, and I was like, "They don't make the next Assassin's Creed Vietnam, I swear to God." I was like, "It sounds so cool." Just
It
sneaking through
does.
the jungle, taking people out. There's so
Yeah.
many possibilities.
Oh, totally. Man, that would be really cool.
It would be cool. I think it would be cool.
All right, so we're gonna jump to Tarkov and get your
Okay.
history. So, how did you find Tarkov first of all?
God, it was back in 2015 or so. Like, somebody posted it in chat, like, "Hey, check it out." And it was like one of their early devlogs where they were talking about it without the screenshots and stuff. And I
Yeah,
was like, all right, I'll keep watching it. And kind of just followed it. And then once it released, played it a lot. And at that time, it wasn't popular. Like, not many people knew about it.
yeah,
And one of this woman who's a manager for another big streamer was their PR person.
yeah,
And she was in charge of taking the NDAs away so people could do videos and stuff. So it was kind of
yeah,
a fight to get who could get the NDAs removed, and a few of us got it removed. And I remember, like, for the first week, it was maybe Rhino Crunch, me, Clean, Cotton, and then Lyric jumped on it, and that was
yeah.
the only people who were doing
Oh
content. And
wow.
then, like, it was Frankie jumped on, Jack Frags, and then it started just compounding more and more people. But it was
Yeah,
just such a different game back in the day,
yeah.
and it was so new and different. Like, the customization was like, holy crap! What can you can look what you can do to your
Right.
guns. It was just so much fun.
Oh
Man,
man.
that was so long ago. I think it was like, what, 2016, 17, I
Yeah.
think?
Holy crap.
Ugh.
Yeah, and back when your quests had timers associated with them,
Oh,
and
yeah. Ugh.
oh man,
Back
it's
when PACA could stop rifle rounds.
yeah. So now looking back, how far, where it's been to now, how far it's come, what's your take on it? You
Um,
did you burn out playing it over the years?
I think all the wipes, like, I
Yeah.
can't even count how many wipes it's been. I think it kinda burns out a little bit, and more if you get, the meta and the W
Yeah.
key stuff. Like, I can't play like that. Like, I'm not as good of an FPS player as I used to be.
Yeah.
Especially when I just aim body shots all the time. But I think it's progressed in a good way. They're opening it up quite a bit. Doesn't
Yeah.
seem, there's a lot of cool stuff that they do, but there's also, like, a lot of really dumb things they do that I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Like,
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest ones that I was like, this doesn't make any sense is when they did FIR, they still have the global limits,
Yeah.
and, like, so it's like I can't buy as many scav vests as I want, or, like, Glock mags. I couldn't get Glock
Right.
mags the other day, and I'm like, it's a fucking Glock mag. I was like,
Yeah.
why does this need a global limit? I was like, this should have been removed so
Right.
long ago. I was like, for
Yeah.
ammo when there was no FIR, it made sense, but now it's
Yeah.
like it doesn't make any sense.
No, I
But I
agree.
mean,
Yeah. Like you
yeah,
said,
they
with
got
the found and raid, like your mags, why can't I buy more of them? I'm not going to resell them
yeah.
under market or
Yeah,
anything.
it doesn't. There's, certain ones like quest stuff or the slicks and, things like that they did
Yeah.
that made sense, but like for even for the ammo, there's a global limit, but you can only buy 120 rounds, a cycle. It's like,
Yeah.
well, why do you need a global limit then if you're limiting how much I can buy to begin with? So it's like kind of stupid little things like here and there that I'm like,
Yeah.
doesn't make any sense. Like the new gun they added, the rifle dynamics, it has a pistol brace on the back of it. I'm like,
Yeah.
why? It's a machine gun. I was
Right.
like, it's almost like they just took the picture off the internet and said, okay, here we go, just throw it in the game. And I'm
Yeah.
like, you can put a stock on it. It doesn't need a brace. Like, what?
Yeah, looking back over the years, what was some of the hardest things to learn about the game when you started playing it?
Um, Tetris, the inventory management.
Yeah.
I'm still not that fast with it, and people complain, and I'm like, oh, they're like, why'd you leave that behind? And I'm like, dude, I'm just trying not to die. I don't care. Like, I
Right.
don't care if it was just 2,000 rubles. I'm getting the hell out of here. It's like the longer I spend with my face in this body, the worse it gets. You
Exactly.
know?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the one thing I've noticed this game has taught me is how bad we are at communicating. When you
Oh
play with
yeah,
others,
absolutely.
oh my God, it's awful.
I know, and it was like, I did a video the other day. I was playing with AK guy and operator Drewski,
Yeah.
and we ran into the new Big Pipe and his friends. The
Yeah.
first raid we did, And I'm like, "Oh, he's over near the tree." And everyone's like, "You said he's over in the tree on woods." And I'm like, "Well, what else am I supposed to say? It's trees." I was like, "There's trees everywhere, you know?" I'm
Yeah.
like, "What do you want me to say?" I'm like, "In the heat of the moment, people are shooting at us." Like, you
Yeah.
know?
And, do you catch flack for that because you're military, you're trained,
No, I mean,
no, they
I
don't give
do,
you
but I mean,
yeah.
people like to think that, like, everybody in the military is, like, super, like, they're on point, like, "Oh, we're taking the left," and it's
Right.
like, you get into a building and people are like, "The motherfucker's in the back of the room, like, where are you like, you two guys" it's more like conversations than, like, a
Yeah.
quick little like, I've seen Navy SEALs clear a building without saying anything, and I've seen them clear buildings yelling at each other
Yeah.
to do certain shit, and it's like, some people think, they get this idea of what communication should be, and I'm like, "Bro, just say whatever's on your mind at this point. If it helps,
Yeah.
it helps. If it doesn't, fuck it," you know? Like,
That's why I was curious, like, being trained, do you have that advantage when you play games, milsim games like this, or is it just
no,
yeah,
no. You can identify stuff and, a
yeah,
little better, like weapons or, what the weapons are capable of and
yeah,
but like movement wise, not really. It doesn't
yeah.
I don't think it helps much at all.
Okay. And now do you play mainly, Tarkov is a in solo, or do you prefer to play in groups?
I used to play strictly solo just because I
Yeah,
found it, you know, more challenging. And then I realized that I'm not as good of a player to be playing solo as I should. So I've been
yeah,
trying to team up, but it's like almost everybody I usually play with is just done with it and they don't want
yeah.
to play anymore. So now I'm back to solo and I'm like, oh God, here it goes again. It's like, it's that meme. I'm sitting in there, on fire with the room
Yeah,
around me on fire, like everything's fine. This is
yeah.
fine.
Well, you talked about a lot of the OGs that played the game and they don't play anymore. And like yourself, you said you came back for the wipe. Is it because they've burnt out, or is it just
Yeah,
the
I think my big thing is content's king, you know what I
yeah,
mean? Like, we get 6 months, we didn't get the AUG, we didn't get there's so many
yeah,
things that we're missing, and you go through all the grind of the same quest you've done a million times,
yeah,
and then you finally unlock, like, the G36, and you realize the recoil on it's terrible, and it's not even worth it,
yeah,
and then, you do that enough times, and I think it's kinda like the pure definition of insanity. Like, there's a lot of guys who just live and breathe Tarkov, and they love
right,
it. There's a lot of guys who live and breathe it because it's their job, and,
yes,
you know I did that with DayZ. I played the living shit out of DayZ because it's what made me popular, and I
yeah,
realized it was just driving me insane, and I walked away from it, and the world didn't end. So,
right,
I tell people all the time, like, what's the point of having, like, a crazy cool computer that can play any game and just play the same game every single day, doing the same thing you've been doing for the past couple of years
yeah,
when you can go spread your wings and experience it. So,
right,
once I kinda, like, get frustrated and I'm over it or I've tried all the new stuff. I just shelve it, find another
yeah.
game, enjoy myself until the next wipe.
Yeah. Yeah, because people who are watching you, they can pick up if you're not having fun. And,
Yeah, oh
do you
yeah.
want to be in a stream where somebody's just
Oh
doing this as
no,
a
man.
job? No.
And I've been on a bunch of streams where like, everybody ends up just it's this is one of the most frustrating games out there. Like I don't
Yeah.
know. I think it's just because you lose so much. It's
Yeah.
almost like a permadeath,
Yeah.
and I've just watched so many people lose their shit. And it's not fun to see, but as like a player, I totally get it. Like if I'm not like streaming and I'm dying,
Yeah.
I'm losing my shit too. And
Yeah.
it's just mentally, like, Tarkov can really take it from you.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Mhm.
And at the same time, though, if you get out on that one raid where you just kicked ass, it's like, oh,
Oh,
you did
yeah.
that. But
It
it's
makes,
such an
like, the
up and
past
down.
10 deaths worth it. It's like,
Yeah.
"Ah, fuck it. We can keep going another couple hours. We're okay. We're okay."
So what are some of the things you would like to have seen Battle State done over the years or
Hmm.
add into the game?
Shoulder switching for guns would be the cool one. I think that would be a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Yeah, maybe a little more realism when it comes to armor piercing rounds and things
Yeah.
like that. Like we all know the Altland can't stop a bullet to save its life, but yet it's top tier kind of thing.
Yeah.
You have rounds that don't really exist, just because armor's the meta, and you
Right.
needed something to counter it. Recoil fixes, I think, would be a big thing, and like dynamic loot. I like what they're doing with the dynamic loot. You can find it everywhere. I think if
Yeah.
they just really push the hell out of that, I think it would just create a whole better atmosphere,
Yeah.
to be honest. But a lot of the big things are fixes like all of us have been complaining about,
Yeah.
desync, sound. The sound is the worst. And it's
Yeah.
like I'm already hard of hearing, so I crank it and I'm like, I can't tell if this guy's above me, below me. I'm like, I don't know
Right.
what to do. It's just there's so many little things that I think if they fix quality of life wise,
Yeah.
it would just tremendously make this game so much better.
Yeah. All right. And now you say you play squad a lot too?
Yeah, squad a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes here and there. Yeah, I like to
What's your
play it.
what's your take on that one?
I like it a lot. It's basically a remake of the old Project Reality mod, which
Yeah.
for Battlefield 2, which was amazing. It has tons of content, but you know, content's king. You know, we had
Yeah.
to wait like 3.5 years almost for the Marines to get added, which was a huge game changer. And it's just one of those games you can keep going back and playing, but it
Yeah.
just gets stale. You know, everything just gets stale if you don't add new things to it. You know.
So yeah, very true. So now let's talk about YouTube and streaming and everything like that.
Oh,
So
okay.
well, I've seen some of your vlogs from years ago talking about,
Oh yeah.
those days, but what made you jump into YouTube? What
I was
was
just
the
bored. I
Yeah.
was bored. I had nothing to do, you know. Um, I would either go out drinking, partying, things like
Yeah.
that, or I would just stay home and play video games. I was like, why don't I just do something with the video game stuff? So I just got a cracked version of Sony Vegas and
Yeah.
just started posting shit on YouTube. And like honestly, within a month, it just took off so quick. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do about this. And I never researched any of it, so it was a seat
Yeah.
of the pants kind of thing. And it was a lot of fun, just kind of just doing my own thing and experimenting with it for a bit.
Yeah. And now what were some of the things that took off for you? Like what any type of videos that you were doing? Like were you doing range
Um,
stuff, airsoft stuff, and
No,
games
it
or
was I was like commentary. I would just do like Battlefield in the background,
Yeah.
talking about my time in the Marines, and then got pretty big on that. And then once DayZ hit, I was like one of the first people to post a DayZ video because I was on the test server with
Oh, okay.
Rocket, the guy who made it, because he was
Oh,
part of
shoot.
another mil sim, and we were testing it out, and it was just so much fun. Posted videos, and then next thing I know, I had like 10 DayZ videos, and then everybody's coming to look at DayZ, and they're finding my videos, and it just, I mean, overnight, I was just getting I think I went from like 50 to 150,000 subs in like a week, and it was just like
Wow.
kept going and going and going. And I was
Yeah.
like, all right, well, I was like, I guess I need an accountant or something, you know.
Now, was it at
So,
that point you realized I can make a thing out of this? I can make a
yeah,
living?
I felt like out of my prospects, because I was looking at going back to college,
Yeah.
because I spent one day at college and my professor had us read The Little Engine That Could, and I said, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." I was like, I don't know why I'm wasting my time. I was
Yeah.
kind of looking to go back in college, and like once that took off, I was like, you know what? I was like, let's just give this a nice little try. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm still young, wouldn't hurt, and never look back.
Yeah.
You have your ups and downs, you have your bad months, but I try to live my life like the worst month I've ever had money wise on
Yeah.
anything, and that's how I budget 100%. And if it goes higher or lower, as long as it doesn't go lower than that, I'll be fine. But
Yeah.
you know, so far it's
Oh,
worked out.
yeah.
I'm like a cockroach; I can't be stomped out. I just keep coming back.
So and over years you've done all sorts of videos, range videos, like in some
Yeah.
airsoft stuff. Any
Mhm.
more range videos coming up or
Yeah, we kinda had to get away from that because I got in trouble with YouTube for
Oh
that.
no.
Yeah, I got hit with a strike for bomb making when I didn't do any bomb stuff, I was just shooting guns. So I kinda took a
Oh,
break from that to kinda fix the channel a bit, and
yeah.
now I'm kinda slowly coming back to it, but it's like ammo is so expensive, and it's
Yeah.
like if they demonetize the video and I spent $800 on
Oh,
ammo making the video, it's like, "Oh, that's kinda hurts," but
yeah.
it's fun. Like they're
Yeah.
kind of cool little things to do. Like I have a bunch of guns that I made that
Yeah.
look like the meta guns that we used to use for Tarkov, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that'll be fun to kind of get into it. Like I'm building an AK-105.
Yeah.
I got a video I want to do where I'm dressed as Killa without his stupid armor vest because that thing looks dumb as hell.
Yeah.
And they got machine guns like full auto AKs, so run around with the AKs shooting through cars and stuff like Killa. And I was like, all right, we can do some fun stuff with this, but it's like the heat, how much the
Yeah.
ammo is, how long it takes to film. It's like very, and with everything been going on with me, I'm like, all
Mhm.
right, well,
Oh,
if I
yeah.
schedule a day, I'm definitely not getting there. I could promise that.
Dude, you must have walked under a ladder, stepped on a cat or something with,
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. It's definitely an Indian burial ground somewhere near my house for sure. It's just never ending.
Oh, man. So now what made you go over, start streaming on live, or how long ago did you first start streaming on Twitch?
Ooh, 2012, 2012, 2013.
Wow.
I came in right after Summit. I was partnered right after Summit.
Yeah.
Um, and a lot of the other YouTube guys, I think they were just in TV, and that month they changed their name, and I was like, well, I'll do it. A lot of other guys are doing it. I was like, why not? I was like, I can record while I'm playing, and we can have fun.
Yeah.
And I mean, back in the day, it was literal email like, "Hey, coming over," and they're like, "All right, you're partnered," and that was it. And
Yeah.
it was just that personable. There was like two people you could talk to at Twitch,
Yeah.
and jumped onto that. And honestly, I didn't get serious with Twitch until like 2017, and even
Yeah.
then was like 3 days a week. Till like maybe 2 years ago, I was
Yeah.
doing like Monday through Friday. So I always kind of thought it was like a fun little thing to do here and there.
Yeah.
But it's fun. Had its ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. I always tell everybody like the difference with it, with kids and stuff like that is like it's a live show. People expect it. So if you start taking, being like, oh, I can't do it, or
Yeah.
it just stopping it, it's when viewership drops, and it's kind of the natural order of things. Like when my youngest, when wife was pregnant, she was born, I had to
Yeah.
take so much time off of streaming, my numbers dropped, and I'm like, yeah, I was like, that's understandable. I understand,
Yeah.
you don't come around, and it's honestly not that. Honestly, I prefer smaller streams. I think they're
Yeah.
more personable. I was like, revenue hasn't changed much at all. I was like, I
Yeah.
I used to make more money with like 500 people than I did when 10,000 people would watch
Yeah.
me like every single day. I was like, I don't know
Wow.
how that is. I was like,
Yeah.
but it's just more personable. You get to know everybody in your chat instead of like
Yeah.
screaming through and be like, who just said that? I can't read that. Like, who
Yeah.
are you? But
Yeah.
I like Twitch. I like Twitch just because you can hang out with your fans and just talk
Right.
to people. It's not really about the gameplay. It's being more, learning more about your fans.
Yeah. And now what's your balance these days between making videos and Twitch?
It's in the trash, first of all. I don't have much balance. I am
Yeah.
all over the place. So I signed with Facebook last year, so I have to do
Oh, okay.
20 videos for them a month that are their
Yeah.
own videos. So because of that, I used to do every day I'd have YouTube videos. And now I don't even realize how the hell I did that. Like now that because I'm going every other day for YouTube if I'm lucky.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how the hell did I do a video every day? I was like, and stream every day. I was like, I don't understand how I freaking did that.
Wow.
But now I try to do every other day. And then I stream Monday through Friday at
Yeah.
5, and then just try to go as long as I can. But the older I get, the more I realize I can't do those midnights, 1 a.m.s kind of
Oh
anymore.
God.
I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I got to wake up at 6 to get the kids out. I got to go to bed early, guys. Sorry.
Oh man. So now look, what's been some of the hardest things about, this being in a content career field?
Oh, man. So many things. Mental health. I've watched
Yeah.
so many people lose their shit. It ain't even
Yeah.
funny. There's so many people you wouldn't even realize are struggling
Yeah.
that you think they're the most happy person on the stream, and then or on videos, and then you talk to them or they DM you and you're like, bro, I'm like, just call me, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. Work life balance, like friends. I don't have friends. I
Yeah.
have other content creators that are friends because they know the schedule, but like best friends, haven't seen them in years, not since
Yeah.
weddings and stuff like that. um, it's just you just become a balance, and once you become like a parent, doing this is next
Mm-hmm.
to impossible. It really is. You either sacrifice your kids or you find a balance, and
Right.
there's people who don't know that balance, and
Yeah.
it took me a while to find the balance. Of course, I had my ups and downs with it, but
Yeah.
I tell you, a lot of people are like all the time, like, I want to do this. And I'm like, give it a shot, but I promise you, you really don't. I was like, it takes a real special person to make it. And
Yeah.
usually some of the people that do make it are shitty people to begin with.
Yeah.
And I was like, and to keep your shit together doing this whole thing is hard as it is. Like I tell people all the time, I was like, this is harder mentally than combat was. I was like, combat, I could deal with that, dealt with it
Yeah.
for years. I was like, but this has sent me to the hospital thinking I'm having a heart attack more
Yeah.
times than anything I can imagine
Yeah.
because of the stress and just, the uncertainty to it.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
It's not just playing video games. It's managing your PR, managing your socials,
Yep.
and
Mhm.
trying to avoid looking at the numbers. I had Veritas on a while ago, and we are talking about the mental health aspect of it.
Oh yeah, it's
A lot of these
insane.
people who just play the one game, they sit and chat 10, 12 hours a day, and they don't have any of that real human
Yeah.
interaction.
Mhm.
And then then add in health insurance. If you're a solo person, how do here in the States?
Yeah. Oh, that's
There's
rough.
no, yeah.
Like I tell people like I know handful of millionaires, multimillionaires on huge people on YouTube that think they're totally happy. They hate the game they play. They just
Yeah.
go on rants, and when you're talking to them, like, "Fuck this game. This is the worst thing I've ever done." Hate their lives. Just want to just stop it all together. But people look at them and they're like, "Oh, I want to be you," and I'm like, "Dude, you don't even know. Like, you don't even know the shit they go through just dealing
Yeah.
with all this crap. Like trying to figure out like taxes, accountants, and stuff. And
Yeah.
there's like no guide to any of this. Like, I've had so many people that are like, "Oh, I just cutting a big check for the IRS." And I'm like, "Please go get an accountant. Like, everyone learns this the hard way." And they're like, "No, I don't need to do that." I'm like, "Just please." I'm like, "Just God, there's no guide to it." And
Yeah.
you learn the hard. Like, one of the worst things I think I ever did was not get an editor. Like,
Yeah.
when I had the money to do it, I should have got an editor. I was like, "Nah, it's easy. I can do it." And now that, like, I hate editing. I'm terrible at it. I have a
Yeah.
friend who's luckily doing thumbnails, but those are easy in
Yeah.
regardless. And I'm like, if I had the money, it could have been so much better to have an editor. And nowadays, like, I've looked into it and they're like, "Oh, I'll do like $100 a video." And I'm like, that's kind of what I make on YouTube on the video guy. I'm like, I'm not sorry,
Right.
friends. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
But that
Yeah.
that was
Yeah, you're the not the first that said that looking back they wish they could have, got an editor earlier. That would have been helped
yeah.
them
Oh
so
yeah.
much.
Yeah. I know. I regret it because I hate editing and I'm terrible at it. And I'm just like, ugh. And like, I know guys like Operator Drewski. He makes these crazy cool videos. He does all the editing himself. And
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I'm like, how? I'm like, where do you find the time to do that? I was like, I wish I could do that. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here like looking at the clock, like, gotta pick the kids up, quick, quick, get this video rendered. I'm like, oh God.
Oh man. And now, from a streaming standpoint, live streaming standpoint, since you've been doing this for so long, you've seen Twitch grow how it has, giving you all the
Hmm.
tools to chat and whatnot. Do you remember your first subs or those first people that
Oh
came
yeah,
in
they're
and
still they're
yeah?
still around. I think it's 100-month sub. I think I have a
Oh,
few
wow.
hundred months. I got a bunch. They always hang around. They come
Yeah.
around. Even if I don't see them, they'll stop in once a month, say hi,
Yeah.
hang out, and things like that. But yeah, I remember quite a bit of it. I remember I should have been banned on Twitch so many times. Back in the day, I pulled out my revolver, showed everybody, and they're like,
Yeah.
the admins coming to the chat. It was back in the day. They're like, "You can't show guns on Twitch," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." I doxed people who were like, donate. They would be like, donate, and like say, "Oh, fuck you," blah blah blah, and I'd be
Yeah.
like, "Oh, here's your email. There's your Facebook. Look at your
Oh
hot
my
mom."
god.
Dropping their hot mom's Facebook and chat. Never got banned for that. I mean, nowadays that shit, you'd be
Oh
gone in a
yeah.
heartbeat. But
Yeah.
it was the wild, wild west back in the day. Like, you could do
Yeah.
whatever and they didn't really care. But now it's just very eggshells constantly.
Yeah.
It's like, ooh, careful what you say. And I'm like,
Right.
that's why I try to tell people, I'm like, if you're streaming, I was like, you're dumb not to be doing YouTube on the side. I was
Yeah.
like, you're really dumb because you're getting free content from your stream. It's
Yeah.
another revenue source. So just in case, you can jump ship, go right to YouTube where,
Yeah.
you can stream in 1440 and it looks amazing, and you still got that to back you up. I was like,
Yeah.
there's no reason just to do Twitch. And even the discoverability on Twitch is so terrible now.
Yeah.
I was like, I see more people growing on YouTube than I do on Twitch.
Yeah.
It's just a luck of the draw kind of thing over there.
Yeah, yeah, because like you said, the discoverability. You're looking through 5 or 6 pages
Oh
if you're
yeah.
playing a certain game.
Hmm.
How do you find people?
Yeah, you really don't. You just most of the time it's just from playing with other people or
Yeah,
Tarkov Drops did wonders for so many people. I mean,
yeah,
that was probably some of the best thing to happen to like people's careers, to be honest, because
yeah,
there were so many streamers I never heard of that got drops, and
yeah,
then you would get Shroud or somebody to host them, or somebody else would host, and people would just stick around and keep coming back to them. And
yeah.
um, I think that was one of the cooler ways that the Tarkov community kind of grew. I think Drops is one of the biggest things that Battle State ever did for the game, for
Oh yeah,
popularity and for the streamers that
yeah. Oh
it's
yeah. It's like Bastilli. He had like 200,000 people, because of
oh
the
yeah.
drops over that Christmas. It was
Yeah, Landmark
crazy.
hosted me, and I had 100,000 for like 8 hours, and I'm
Yeah,
like, bro, what is this? I was like, thanks, man. And then I'm like going through trying to find somebody else on the list, and I'm like, all right, dude, you look cool. This is your moment. Don't fuck
yeah.
it up. Send them a raid. I'm
And
like, you only get one shot, guy.
oh, and there's like questions I want to ask you, but you've lived through all of that, like that being rated by that first big person. But you were that big person.
Yeah, I know.
You were
It's kind
early.
of weird, dude. It's so weird because I tell everybody like I've gone from like, I've had 100,000, I've had 10,000 regular, I've had 1,000 regular, I've had 100 regular.
Yeah,
I've gone, I have had so many ups and downs that like I don't even know what to tell people. I just get on, do my same shit every day. If it happens, it happens. If it
Yeah.
doesn't, it doesn't, you know? And, but I see so many people, like, I see, people struggling to grab the viewers. And
Mm-hmm.
honestly, like, I kind of wish I would have gone through that to see
Yeah.
that struggle, because it not that I don't have an profound appreciation for what I do, but I don't understand that struggle
Yeah.
enough, to the point where, like, I can get it and get behind that. It's just, I have more of the after effects struggle
Right.
experience than anything else.
Yeah. And now a lot of the content creators have been on talk about chat. Chat is weird or wild certain days of the week, certain times of the month, certain periods of
Mm,
the years. Do you see that with yours, or your chat's
no.
like veteran and they just
My chat's veteran. Like, if you say something dumb, I'll just ban you straight out. I don't
yeah,
care. Like, if you're talking stupid, bye.
yeah,
I don't have time for you. Like, I don't I deal with my own kids. I don't need to deal with
right,
kids in chat. So
yeah,
I usually, chat used to be pretty wild. And that's one of the things I see. The higher your numbers go, the worse your chat can get.
yeah,
It can get pretty outrageous. But once you get it down to like a stable number with core people, it's nice and it's
yeah,
easier, and it's more of a thrill to be there and talk to people. Then it's like,
yeah.
oh god, here comes slow mode. Like, let
And
me
now,
alt tab.
now, when you're playing different games, do you see your chat change versus now that you're in a Tarkov swing versus when you were doing like
Mm,
Daisy or an Arma, or is it just pretty much the same chatter coming
It's pretty
through?
much the same. Like, you'll see certain people light up, like, if I'm raging at Tarkov,
Yeah,
we're 4 months deep into the wipe, and I'm like, screw this. I'm like, all right, I know we're gonna play, and they're like, is it happening? And I'll like boot up DCS, and people are like, yes, let's go and stuff. It's more, they like that.
yeah. Well, that's one of the nice things that you have that ability to be able to switch games, unlike some of the other
Hmm.
streamers who are just like you said, they're playing one game and that's their job. That's
Yeah.
that's tough.
I tell people all the time, I was like, you need to do variety. Like, you'll never be on the same game. If you're gonna do long term, you'll end up going to other games. Like, Clean did variety, worked
Yeah,
out fine for him.
yeah,
I switched from Daisy, worked out fine for me. Cotton left Tarkov, works out fantastic for him. I was
yeah.
like, there's so many. Like, once you get that core viewer base, you gotta start slowly jumping into other games. Like, don't just stop right away, but
Mm-hmm.
take a day, play a different game. Go, once the wipe's a little, and it just and build from there, because if you don't, and the game dies out, and then you're fucked. You're
Right.
basically kind of screwed at that point.
Yeah, and it's a job at that point.
Oh
Something you're
yeah.
not doing. Like I had Spinachy on a little while ago, who's a variety streamer, and
Hmm.
she was talking. It's just being able to transition games. Like you don't go from Minecraft to Resident Evil. You
Oh
transition
yeah.
games. From sort of same style at least.
Yeah, almost the same style. Me, I don't
Yeah.
really care. I'll just go to whatever. Like, I'm bored. Sorry guys, I'm playing this today.
Oh.
But you definitely can't just go from Tarkov to like Minecraft, or
Yeah.
you know, um, kind of stick in the same genre almost. Like, I tell people all the time, Tarkov to Stalker works really well.
Yeah.
And that's a good one to start off with, especially with the hype for the new Stalker.
Mm-hmm. That's
Um,
yeah.
there's a bunch of games you can do like that. Once you're kind of in that genre, you can start moving from there.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's,
Because
it's
I see a lot of people like on Twitter. Just you can tell that they're just struggling, and these are
oh
people
yeah,
who are main gaming certain things, and it's just like you feel bad.
oh yeah, I know, and it's one of those things. Like, once gaming becomes a job, it becomes a little rougher, and almost kind
Yeah,
of like, oh, I gotta play this today, or it kind
yeah,
of takes the joy. Like, I almost say that, like, YouTube and Twitch kind of created like ADHD with games for me, to
yeah,
where, like, after a week of it, I'm like, all right, this is boring. I need to find something else. It's
yeah.
just like you're looking for that next spark of like, oh, this is new, because
Right.
over COVID, everything's been the same recycled garbage. So you're like,
Yeah,
I need something. I need some spice. Give me some spice. It's like, I need something. Give me.
yeah, yeah. Looking back over your careers, what are some of the highlights that you can think of? Or like you're just like, yeah, that was a good time.
Are we talking like gaming or like things I've done?
So let's talk content creation, streaming, YouTube, that stuff. Like, what were some of the pinnacle moments for you that, like, wow, I can't believe I just hit, somebody watched one of my videos for 2 million views or something like along
Um,
those lines.
I would say 500K for YouTube, and then once I hit 200K followers for Twitch, and when I got that raid from Landmark for
Yeah.
100K, because I think I was already at like 40 or something
Yeah.
like that. And then he came by and dumped that bomb on me, and I was like, "Well, that's a screenshot because that'll never fucking happen again." and stuff.
Like when
Uh,
that happens, how do you can't even keep track of chat at that point,
no, you
right?
can't. And I was like, "All right, this is experiment time," because they wanted was ads, so I'm just running
Right.
ads, and I'm like, I'm gonna be able to see the difference between Twitch ad revenue and YouTube. And
Yeah.
Twitch was still garbage compared to YouTube, and I was like,
Really?
"Oh man, oh." I think I ended with 22K,
Yeah.
and I calculated all the ads and things like that, and a 4 million view month on
Yeah.
YouTube would have been like double, almost triple the ad
Wow.
revenue. And I was like, dude, they're just wrecking people with ads. I was like, they're just pocketing so much money and just
Yeah.
not giving you the stuff for ads. Cause like YouTube, I mean, you get 100,000 view video, that's like a couple grand right there.
Yeah.
Easy. You're done with Twitch. Oh, a couple $100 here a month. Yeah, take it.
Yeah.
There's your beer money, guys. Sorry. And I'm
Uh,
like, oh, they're just pocketing all that crap.
yeah,
It's
and it
like,
sounds like they're pushing them to push more ads too
oh
to
yeah, and they're just trying to milk it. And it's like,
yeah.
but they don't do anything. They don't change their networking. Bit rates are still garbage.
Yeah.
YouTube's over there with like 1440p and it looks crystal clear. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, if you're gonna take more money, make things better. You
Right.
know.
Now, do you stream live on YouTube as well? Or
No, no,
really you
no.
just
Just because Twitch is because I have like a legacy contract. I
yeah.
have an 80/20 split,
Oh, okay.
and they don't do that anymore. And
Yeah.
so they were very, don't because it was once YouTube came around with streaming, I
Yeah.
was like, this was back when you could still talk to them. I was like, well, they're doing streaming there. I might switch over, and they're like, well, we'll just up your contract. I'm like, okay, why
All
not?
right.
And they're like, but you can't stream. And now they're not like it's so hard to get an 80/20 split. I'm like,
Oh God.
I'm just gonna stay, just keep them separated. But the day I get banned, I'll be streaming on YouTube for sure. I'll be like, or Facebook. Facebook streaming is where it's at. Like
Yeah.
when if you want revenue, but I had it explained to me by someone at Facebook. There's two types of people that watch. It's boomers or
Yeah.
kids,
Yeah.
and there's nobody in between. So like my kind of stuff wouldn't really work too well on there. I feel like, but
Yeah.
I mean, they don't take money from you on Facebook. It's you get 100% of everything,
Yeah.
and but you got choices,
Yeah.
honestly.
And as the peers that you talk to, are they they're all everybody's like you get feedback from people who are doing live on Facebook versus YouTube. That's
hmm Yeah,
every
everyone's got their own little kind of niche. So you hear kind of like the behind the scenes stuff and
yeah.
what works and what doesn't. But um, so far, everyone doesn't really complain much about YouTube or Facebook. It's more
Yeah.
Twitch that everyone's complaining about.
Okay. And now again, over the years, was there a moment that you almost said, "Fuck it, I'm done with this shit"?
Oh man, I think probably when Facebook gave me that bomb making strike, or not
Oh,
Facebook, YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
I was like, I don't know how I'm coming out of this one, guys, because because when they hit you with like certain kind of bans and
Yeah.
strikes and stuff, it just takes you out of the favor of the algorithm, and it takes a
Oh
lot of like
shit.
figuring out how to get through it because it's
Yeah.
basic shadow bans. There really is a thing for shadow bans. There's a thing with shadow bans on Twitch too with notifications. It's been that way forever.
Yeah.
And you just kind of got to find the way through the thing. And usually after a while, the algorithm will kind of put you back once you've been consistent. And
Yeah.
when that happened, I was like, bro, this is going to be such a bad shadow ban. And I was like, I
Oh.
am just done. I was like, fuck it. Let's just go. And the wife's like, you got to keep doing it. And I'm like, okay, fine.
Yeah. Oh. Now, have you experimented with shorts or TikToks or anything
No,
like that, or
I
that's a different
barely have
beast?
time. I barely have time. I
Yeah.
want to, and like I have a few folders where I'm like, oh, this will be fun with TikTok, but I think TikTok's days are numbered because of the FCC and the China stuff.
Yeah.
So, but the shorts, I know a few people who do shorts and get a lot of views. There's
Yeah.
no ad revenue in it right now. Maybe in the future.
Right.
Same with TikTok. I mean, I think Mr. Beast said he got like 15K one month for all of his stuff, and I was like,
Yeah.
dude, that's like no money for the amount of views he had.
Yeah.
Um, so maybe in the future, I think the future is probably short form and live stream for sure. I think the longer
Yeah.
videos are kind of done. But it's just right now I just have zero time as it is. So I'm like,
Yeah.
and then I'm like a boomer. Like, what is this? I have
I
no
know.
idea how to do anything. I'm like,
Oh,
but I
yeah.
see it work for so many people. Like I watch Endra. her stuff on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I'm like, your TikToks work. And same with like Velian and stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
they work and they bring more people over. So like if you discover it and you get like a nice little niche,
Yeah.
it work all around for you for sure.
I just, being 50, I just can't grasp my head around TikTok.
Oh
I look
God,
at some of that
no.
shit and I was like, what? I don't
Yeah,
get it.
some of them are cool, but I remember Vine, and I was like, Vine was the jam, and I was like,
Yeah.
looking at TikTok, and I'm like, what the hell is this half the time?
I know, right? Oh,
Ugh.
crazy. So now let's talk some military stuff. Ukraine and Russia, from a strategy
Mhm.
standpoint, looking at how that was fought, what are your thoughts on like utilizing tanks sort of in the past now, with how easily they're using
Oh yeah.
UAVs to take
Oh
that
yeah.
shit out?
Tanks have been done. They've been done for a while. Loiter munitions are just crazy. They still have a purpose, but not what they used to be. Right now, it's infantry, drones, artillery
Yeah.
is the way to go. Planes days are numbered too. Surface to air missiles are getting better, but honestly, like as soon as I like the day it happened, we were streaming,
Yeah.
and someone in chat was like, the strategic bomber frequencies are lighting up in Russia. Their radio chatter because you can listen to all their stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, that's not good." I was like, "That's not good." And then 10 minutes later, they're like, "Cruise missiles are striking Kyiv," and I'm like, "Oh god." So we spent the whole night just drinking beer,
Yeah.
watching all the footage. And I'm like, "All right." I was like, "Ukraine's gonna fall in 72 hours, or I owe you guys a 24-hour stream." And I'm like, a week later, I'm like, "I'm so sorry, everybody." I was like, "Everything we thought about Russia was a total lie." I was like, "They're such a paper tiger." I was like, "Oh,"
Yeah.
I was like, I told everybody the Marine Corps, the entire Marine Corps could deploy all at once and take Russia in like a week. It'd
Yeah.
be no problem. I'm
Yeah.
like, ugh,
Yeah, like some of the logistics stuff they were doing just didn't make sense. And
no,
are
not
their
at
gear
all.
that's so old? And
Ugh. Their IFAKs, their first aid kits were terrible. None of them had optics. I
yeah,
think I've seen like
yeah,
two pictures with night vision, and I'm like, oh Lord. I was like, that's kind of how we beat people in Iraq. We'd go in at night when they couldn't see us and
yeah,
stuff. I'm like, oh no.
yeah, and it just really the whole drone aspect of things really just
Yeah.
showed how archaic, relic the tank, the mechanized movement, mechanized
Hmm.
armor is.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the funny thing is like Russian air defense is actually better than ours. Like
Yeah.
they have some really top tier shit. And like some of their stuff like the pan steer has self-defense modes will auto
Hmm.
detect something and just if it's within a range and it's like, "Oh shit, it's going to kill me." It'll
Yeah.
just turn and fire on it by itself without anybody needing it. And like I'm watching drones like over top of them like blowing them up. I'm like, "What the hell is happening right
Yeah.
now?" I'm like, "Ugh." And it just kind of shows you that like even if you have the best tech, it can still kind of have its shortfalls and even with a man in the loop, you can really have some shortfalls.
Yeah.
And it was kinda eye-opening because and now, like, for, like, a lot of militaries, like, Germany is like, "Oh, fuck," and they're, like, absolutely throwing money at the problem now because they cut their military hugely,
Yeah.
and our military is like, "Oh, shit," like, we've been wrong for a while, and they're like I mean, now they're giving, like, Marines cruise missiles and, like, all kinds of stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Good lord." I'm like, "Man, we're really kinda changing the game here all of a sudden." I'm like,
Yeah.
"Jeez."
Yeah, it is definitely, definitely a change of how, I got to think the way they're doing tactics now and training and everything like that is going to be different
Yeah,
too
it's
because of what they've
definitely
seen.
yeah, definitely differently. And like I had a couple friends over there that were, they were all Army Marines. I knew them
Yeah.
all well. They just no family, no friends. There's like I like war, and they went over and fought. And the
Yeah.
shit they were telling me was crazy. They all ended up leaving because now it's all trench warfare, and they're like, "Oh
Yeah.
fuck that." They're like, "We're not doing trench warfare."
Well,
But I
and
mean,
if
like
they
they
get
would
captured, they're fucked.
they didn't care.
Yeah.
They were fighting with the Kurds a couple years ago. They just like war. They got no
Yeah.
kids. They're like, screw it, let's just keep going. But I mean, like they would just tell me like tanks would roll into towns by themselves and just sit there and like no infantry, and they're just like, what the hell? And they
Oh
kill
my
the
god.
tank, and all the rest of the tanks are scattered. It's like cockroaches. But like, there's
Wow.
no rhyme or reason to anything they do. It just makes
Yeah.
zero sense.
Yeah, because I remember seeing a bunch of your tweets from your retweet or
Hmm.
passing that information and all, and it was very interesting. I loved when you were giving
Yeah.
those play by plays.
I
They were
know. I
fantastic.
kind of almost wanted to like change my channel just to that, but then I
Yeah.
realized like 6 months from now, nobody's gonna give a shit about this war, so it's not worth
Right.
it. I was like,
Yeah.
as cool as it was and how many views I got on some of those videos, I was like, it ain't gonna last. I was like, it could turn into another Vietnam for them or
Right.
Afghanistan, and nobody's gonna care. I
Yep.
was like that right in that moment, it was cool, but at the same time, it was hard getting information from my friends, and then they'd find cool stuff like all the armor piercing rounds for AKs, and I'd be like,
Yeah.
okay, can you try to secretly get me some, because it's like super illegal to get in America. It was
Yeah.
like for tests and stuff, and they're like trying to do all that, and I'm like, and then it just became too hard for them and me to link up, because like they
Yeah.
had to basically just hide cell phones and crap, and it was just getting kind of crazy there for a
Yeah.
while. So I was like, I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah. Oh man. So now, let's talk about your community. Your community's been
Okay.
there for, for a long time.
Hmm.
What any members that stick out, or any mods that you want to
Oh
give a
yeah,
shout out to?
there's quite a few. Mr. Wheatley is one. Been around for a while. Met him quite a few times.
Yeah.
Raw F22, Indy, Mac. I mean, there's quite a few that have been just ATL clutch. It's hanging around forever now.
Yeah.
They're almost like a part of me. They're
Yeah.
kind of stuck. They're never gonna go away. It's just, and even like there's a few new people that show up, like you start talking to them after 2-3 months, and they just
Yeah.
stick around, and you get to know so much about them.
Yeah.
And that's why I kind of like the smaller group, because it's
Mm-hmm.
like you get more people that you can know more about and know about their lives, and it's a little easier to kind of connect with them,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, well, this is what Twitch has shown. I don't know, because of COVID, people are staying home more, and now
Yeah.
this is the nightly thing. People go on, they watch their streamers, and
Hmm.
they chat, they develop a relationship, and instead of going
Yeah.
out to the bar with their buddies, this is their nightly routine
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
relationships you guys
I've
develop.
definitely seen that. I've seen, like, because of the economy, more people are staying in, watching
Yeah,
stuff. Um, and, I think it's going to increase a bit more. I think, knowing how things were back in the day, I can definitely say people are going to start making a lot less money doing this,
yeah,
but you will have higher viewership for sure, because people aren't going to go out and spend the money on entertainment. They're going to get bored. I've
yeah,
binge watched everything. I'm going to go find a streamer. So
yeah,
it's almost going to be a kind of a flip flop here in a little bit for sure.
yeah. Oh, definitely. So now, what do you foresee changing? Any plans down the road for you? Any big goals this year?
I would like to retire sometime soon. That ain't gonna happen. My savings is like garbage.
Yeah,
I want to get back in gun videos for sure. Um, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. I'm trying to
yeah,
think of what I'm doing tomorrow, not 5 years from now. But
yeah.
I kind of want to just keep doing my same old thing, and hopefully new games come around, because I feel like the past 2 years we've had like garbage, just
It's
nothing
been
coming out. It's
tough.
been it's been bad.
Yeah,
And I think that's kind of part of everybody's misery all of a sudden.
yeah,
Everyone's like, am I still playing GTA 5? Why? It's like, what the hell?
yeah,
And it's, but honestly, just keep doing the same old thing. Maybe, reaching out and doing some other stuff here and there.
yeah,
But kind of keeping the same old, same
yeah.
old.
So now over the years, you've also, I'm assuming you've been to a few PAXs.
I've
Or-
gone to 2 PAXs, and
Yeah,
I don't think I would ever. It would take heaven and earth moving to get me to a PAX, because tell everybody this all the time. Everybody's got an ego, and it's out fucking rageous.
oh,
Like,
is
just
it?
hanging back in the Twitch backstage stuff. It's like,
Yeah,
oh my god, shut up! What the hell? You ain't special. Good lord.
yeah,
There's a few people. There's content creators that are awesome, but majority of them have massive egos. Like, once
yeah.
they start getting some checks and stuff, oh my god.
Oh man, you must
Like,
have
I
some
would spend.
stories.
Oh, I got stories. I got stories, I got stories for sure. But it's like I would usually just go meet with all the developers,
Yeah,
make my networking stuff, say hi to a few friends, dip, go drink with the wife and
yeah,
friends, and just hang out and sleep in the hotel room the rest of the day.
yeah,
And I went to like maybe 2 Twitch parties, and I was like, this is fucking crazy, and then left. But
yeah,
I don't do that anymore. I don't do sponsored trips anymore because of that either. Like, you can get me first class tickets. They've tried and throw money at me. I'm not
yeah,
going to those, because I got to hang out in small rooms with some of those guys, and I don't
yeah.
want to do that, because it's like, some of you should have been punched in the face as a kid, and it can tell. You can definitely tell like who's never been punched in the face. I'm like, oh
Oh man, I am so happy you did this. This is great.
yeah, it's
Oh,
fun. Oh yeah, man, I could tell you
oh
some crazy stuff. I know,
man, oh
like,
man.
but
Yep,
it
I
is
hear
what
you.
it is. It is
Yeah,
what it is. I tell
people
you
are
what, the
people.
gun guys are the cool people. Like, all the gun
Yeah,
YouTubers, they're super cool. I had one time, which I'm now stopped drinking because I went into we were drinking at some event, and AK guy and Iraq veteran and all them were there.
Yeah.
And I got to the next bar, they want to do karaoke, and I'm like, bro, I can't fucking sing worth a damn. So I went to the bartender and I'm like, give me 2 beer glasses full of Fireball and like the
Oh
big
my
ones. And I
God.
chugged both of them, blacked the fuck out. Apparently I did sing karaoke, but it wasn't very good. And then I walked through a McDonald's drive-through and, but they all took care of me. They made sure I got
Yeah.
back to my hotel room. I was like, if you would have done that, if that would have happened at a Twitch party, people would have been like, get away, And I was
Yeah.
like, that's the difference between like different sets of YouTubers. Like the gaming people are weird. The
Yeah.
gun guys are all really cool, super down to earth, but I think
Because
that's
they've
just
lived
kind of
that
more.
lifestyle. They've,
Yeah, most of them are military, been punched in the
yeah.
face a few times, Like I said, you can definitely tell the difference between people sometimes.
Yeah.
There's definitely been I've seen some entitled people yelling at people they shouldn't have been yelling at because they
Yeah.
felt like they were owed something and it was like, I'm gonna go get a beer, see you later.
Yeah. That's why part of me is I'm glad I'm the age I am now, not
Oh yeah.
20 years younger.
Oh, I know, absolutely.
Yeah.
My oldest is like, "Why are you so hard on me?" I was like, "'Cause the world will be and no one else will." I was like, "I
Yeah.
promise you." I was like, "The world is gonna spit you out, like, quick." And I was
Yeah.
like, "And everyone's gonna coddle you, and then once you get to the world," I was like, "You're gonna be like, 'Oh, fuck, what do I do?'"
Yeah.
It's
Well,
just how it is.
just like that university teacher you went to and he had you read, the
Yeah,
train that
yeah,
could,
little engine I could. I was like, "Ah,
Yeah. Oh
thanks for
man.
taking my money, guy."
Yeah.
It's just like
Now, if you did go down that college path, what path would you have taken, or what would you have liked to have
Probably
done?
like cybersecurity stuff like that.
Yeah.
I was looking at doing. Um, I actually was signing up for flight lessons. I was going to get my commercial pilot
Yeah.
stuff, and then that's when I started getting the bad panic attacks. And then,
Yeah.
of course, you get put on that medication. The FAA won't let you fly. And I was like, so they saved me a lot of money, to be
Yeah.
honest. Those panic attacks did save me money, but cost me money because wouldn't have time for that, and even that's a life that's tough too.
Yeah.
So,
Oh
but it would have
yes.
probably either been airline pilot or cybersecurity shit.
Yeah.
Honestly, I
Cool.
had chances to do all the mercenary, contractor work when I got
Yeah.
out, and I still do. I still from time to time I got offers from friends to do that I know who own companies like that to do in
Yeah.
Ukraine, and I'm like, no, I got kids. I was like,
Right.
let me know when they reach the Polish border, or something, or they're crossing the Rhine, and I'll be
Right.
there. But I was like, not right now. I was like, sorry guys, but
Yeah.
there's not a lot of opportunities when you do infantry. I tell people all the time, if you're gonna do the military, you do Air Force
Yeah.
first of all, because it's amazing. It's just there's women everywhere. The rooms look like the Hilton. The food's better. The bases are cool. Nobody yells
Yeah.
at you half the time. And I was like, and then you do stuff like air traffic controller or like aviation mechanic or
Yeah.
avionics. You get out, you make 100K a year, you owe nobody for school, and it's just easy. I was like, if you learn how to kick indoors, I was like, you're gonna have nightmares and Walmart when you leave, and that's
Yeah.
about it. I was like,
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I have two friends that went to the Air Force Academy. They did
hmm
4 years in Air Force after they graduated, and they're doing well. And I've been
Oh
to a
yeah,
couple of those Air Force Army games, and the camaraderie that
oh
they
yeah,
have, you're connected
hmm
for life. It's
oh
pretty
yeah, for
neat.
sure. You still are. You always are. But
Yeah.
I mean, if you pick the right job in the military, you pick the right branch, you're basically just getting a government paid education that,
Yeah.
with great experience and just sets you up for life. But everybody I know who's done infantry is either a contractor or works at like a retailer or something
Yeah.
like that. It's just you don't get a lot
Yeah.
of opportunities as a trigger puller.
Yeah. Nope. Probably not. So. So now, from a content creator standpoint, who do you like to watch? If you watch
Oh.
anybody, or who do you recommend people should check out besides you, of
I
course?
I get very little time to watch, but if I
Yeah.
do, I'll when it comes to like Tarkov, I'll of course watch Pastilli, Trey, Willers, Clean,
Yeah.
Velian, and One Peg. They're all awesome people. I know them. They're all cool.
Yeah.
When it comes to like YouTube, I'll do Operator Drewski, Oddboz, and Fly Daily, who's
Yeah.
like the king of War Thunder, like
Oh,
coolest dude
okay.
I ever knew. Oh, he's so fun. He's one of my original YouTube friends for sure. He's
Oh,
just the
nice.
most down to earth guy. But yeah, like those are basically people. I get everyone like I'll get like 5 or 6 minutes. Like I said, I watch your stuff from time to time if I get a
Yeah.
chance, which is usually the toilet because that's the only chance I get to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting
Yep,
there,
with
like,
kids
all in
and
my stream, and I'm like editing, and I'm like, oh, quickly. I was like, oh god, I gotta go to sleep. I gotta wake up in 5 hours, and I'm just done, gone.
yeah.
But other than that, I don't
Um,
get too big of a chance anymore to watch.
yeah. So, which leads me to the next question. When you disconnect, you're not editing, you're not streaming. You're being a dad. What else do you like to do? Do you watch TV? Do
Um,
hunt
no,
or anything
not
like
so
that?
much. I wish I had time. I want to. I want to take my oldest hunting so bad. But we just don't have the time because I got
Yeah.
kids, got daycare,
Mm-hmm.
camp, dance. So like if I'm out, I'm either cleaning the house, trying to
Yeah.
get my honey-do list done,
Yeah.
um, being told to take a shower by my wife because
Yeah.
I'm like been up too late and I need to take a shower. But it's usually just dad shit, to be
Yeah.
honest. Like I don't really have any hobbies outside of anything.
Yeah.
If I watch a show, it takes me like a month to finish it because I'll start it, grab
Yeah.
my food, sit down, eat, pause, get up, and go. And it's been like 10 minutes. Is I was like I get through an episode a day. So I usually just do just dad shit most of the
Yeah.
time.
Ah, very cool. It actually just triggered something for me. Most of the people who have been successful as content creators, there's somebody behind them, a spouse, the wife, family.
Mhm.
So you got Mrs. Devil Dog behind you.
Yeah, absolutely. She is the one that definitely keeps it together because I would have lost my damn mind so long ago. I had her, and she had her own aspirations in life.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where I was just so overworked with doing books for the account and doing everything, and I was just losing my shit. So she kind of put her aspirations on the side and,
Yeah.
to help with the kids and the books and stuff like that. And honestly, like I wouldn't have been able to continue without her. I probably would have had to quit and just
Yeah.
not even bother because it was just I was running on E constantly. Couldn't like a zombie, couldn't
Yeah.
even walk half the time. Couldn't even stay awake. I'd fall asleep on my computer, facing the
Oh,
keyboard and stuff. Honestly, without her, not only would my life kind of suck, my kid's life would suck because she is like get shit done.
yeah.
Make sure everybody's taken care of because
That's
I don't
cool.
have the time to do it. Which
Very awesome.
yeah.
Now, if you had one piece of advice to give somebody who's looking to do this, other than don't do it, what would it be?
Oh man, I would say give it time, plan it out, and I would say just definitely plan it out. Think of what you want to do, have a goal, and work towards it, and don't give up. Like nobody likes quitters. Quitters don't get anywhere in life. But definitely make sure that you take care of your mental health. If you're not, you know, stable to begin with,
Yeah.
you're not going to be stable through this. So if you're having panic attacks in your normal life, you're definitely going to have them here because I didn't have panic attacks and I get them with this. So like I would definitely say you got to prep yourself, but give it a shot. And I would say give it a timeline. Don't quit. If you don't reach that timeline, don't waste your life chasing something that obviously isn't going to work out.
Yeah.
If it gets to that point, it gets to that point, but don't waste your younger years, trying to get a goal. If you reach that timeline that she gave you, kind of like a 5-year plan almost, and
Yeah.
it doesn't work out, walk away. It's
You
trust
did
me,
what you
they
could.
will be. Yeah, you tried, you didn't give up, and at least you say you can try
Yeah.
because you never know unless you try, right? So I would say that's
Absolutely.
the big thing because I see a lot of people who just spend obscene amounts of time, money, things like that. They dump money into making everything just absolutely amazing,
Yeah.
and then it doesn't work out. They get frustrated, and then it's like, what do you do? Like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, there's no magic trick. It's 100% luck. Everything
Yeah.
about this is 100% luck, unfortunately, which sucks because I kind of need some of that.
You do. You need that luck to shift
I
around,
need that
man.
luck. I
You
know.
need that exorcism to get that burial
Oh, I
ground
know.
curse
I
off
know.
you.
I told because my grandmother and grandfather owned an old Civil War plantation back in the day,
Yeah.
and it was super fucking haunted. Absolutely the most haunted shit I've ever seen in my life. Used to spend summers there, hated every second of it.
Yeah.
And I told her, I was like, because she's going through her cancer treatments though right now. She's doing great though. I told her, it's like, when you get better, I was like, you need to come and do some of that fucking no ghost shit. Cause like the ghosts never fucked with her because she was always like, get the fuck out. She'd see shit,
No
hear shit.
way.
Yeah. And she'd just be like, get out of my house. Fuck you. Get out of my house. And they'd leave her alone. They'd fuck with everybody else. And I was like, you need to come to my house and just like spread some mojo. So like my life
Wow.
changes and like I can get this bad luck out of here. I was like, you need to do something because there's something about you that just the world just says, you're just leave her alone.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, that's too funny. Oh my God.
yeah.
All right. Well, hey, you survived, and I thank you so much for doing
Nah.
this. But before
Well,
I
not a
let you
problem. It was
go,
fun. It was fun.
good. You have one more task though. You got to call out somebody, one of your
Ooh.
crew that you think has a good story that should be heard.
I would say, have you had one peg yet?
I have not had one. He's due to come up though. Him and I have been going back and forth.
Okay. How about Velian?
No, I have not had Velian.
Okay, I got you. I mean, the energy that man has is pretty intense.
Yeah.
I don't
All
know
right.
how he does it, to be honest. So I think he would be fun. I think he would be really
Excellent.
cool.
All right, Velian, we're coming for you.
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much, man. I really
All right.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.